Less than an hour after the three Combs sisters initially showed up at the trial to provide their father emotional support, they got up, gave each other a firm hug, and sobbed as they left the courtroom. What specifically was captured in the footage that was being displayed at the time that even Diddy's own daughters couldn't watch? Since it establishes the context for discussing coercion or force, that film is maybe the most significant piece of evidence.
We need you to step to the side. Step to the side, please.
Yes, give us a little space. Give us a little space. Give us a little space.
The mistake occurred in Manhattan federal court prior to the start of the trial. Cassie showed a hitherto unseen film that allegedly captured evidence from a contentious freak-off and had the secret to Diddy's accusations. The prosecution claims that the video is crucial evidence that reveals a network of charges against Diddy and family secrets. The Combs family members' eyes got heavy as the recording was formally accepted as evidence, as if they understood they were going to have to deal with something that could not be undone.
On those drives, the witness says 8 videos featured 8 celebrities at Diddy freak-offs or parties, and that 6 were males, 2 were females. The drive also included a manuscript of an alleged Kim Porter memoir, a memoir that her 4 kids insist is fake.
The prosecution's star witness taking the stand, but it was more than that. It was how Cassie took that stand. You could hear a pin drop when those doors opened, and a visibly pregnant Cassie Ventura walking past a man she had not seen in 6.5 years, a man she says violently abused her for a decade, a man the prosecution said trafficked her. Well, she sat across from him, placed her overcoat behind her, turning her body slightly toward the jury, rubbing her pregnant belly throughout her testimony. Diddy, well, he was more fidgety than he was the day before. He was passing notes. He pushed himself away from the defense table and largely sat like that. They never seemed to make eye contact with one another, not even after she was crying about having loved him once and planning and participating in these freak-off sex parties because she feared him and she wanted to make him happy, but feeling worthless, feeling disgusting because she didn't want to do it. Now, with each moment, the testimony became more and more graphic. Her delivery, though, it never changed. It was matter of fact, steady, calm. At times, she was even critical of herself, walking us all through how a 10-album record deal came over a 10-year period of abuse and sexual humiliation. And once you hear Cassie's testimony, you'll understand why the courtroom was so tense.
Beneath Manhattan's leaden sky, a bustling crowd converged on the federal courthouse where the trial of Sean Diddy Combs entered what seemed like just another day. Outside, reporters jostled for position, cameras flashed incessantly, and protest signs rose high, bearing the words "Justice for the victims." Murmurs of speculation rippled through the throng, from curious onlookers to legal analysts, all sensing the weighty atmosphere before a trial promising high drama. Inside, the courtroom was packed, not a single seat vacant. Sketch artists' pens raced across paper, cameras clicked rhythmically, and the jury's gazes were steely, poised to dissect every detail. The air in that oak-paneled room felt compressed, each breath seeming to fight for existence.
The unexpected presence of the Combs family drew all eyes. For the first time since the scandal broke, the family's reserved seats were no longer vacant. Chance, Delilah, and Jessie, Diddy's 3 daughters, sat prominently in the front row, joined by Justin Dorr Combs, the defendant's son. They were impeccably dressed, their simple yet elegant attire radiating an unanticipated maturity. The girls' faces were stoic, their eyes seemingly concealing a web of intricate emotions. When the media inquired about their attendance, Chance responded with a calm but resolute voice, "We're here to support our father." Yet in their gazes, something felt unfinished, a subtle void, as if they were steeling themselves for something far weightier than their words could express.
Rachel Harper, the middle-aged prosecutor, stood up from the prosecution's table. She had thin-rimmed spectacles and silver hair that was pulled back. Her voice echoed, purposeful yet authoritative, like the steady drumbeat announcing a significant occasion. "Please explain to the court what has been called the freak-off and your involvement in those events," Ms. Turcher said, her piercing eyes focused on Cassie. As if waiting for her answer, the courtroom held its breath. Cassie took a deep breath and looked across the room, stopping for a moment on Alex, who was sitting close by, his unwavering stare acting as a fulcrum. As if every word had been carefully considered, she pulled her lips together and spoke in a quiet but determined voice.
I met Sean in 2005. I was 19, just signed to Bad Boy Records. He was a powerful man, an icon in the music industry. He promised to take me to the top, to make me a star. But what I got wasn't stardom, it was a trap.
She hesitated, looking around the jury as if to make sure they understood the seriousness of what she was about to disclose. He introduced me to what he referred to as the freak-off. Almost a year after we began dating, he said that it was a means of relaxing and discovering new limits. But I couldn't wake up from it. It was like a nightmare.
What is a freak-off? The freak-off essentially was something that Cassie said she learned about through Sean Combs about a year into their relationship. He described it as voyeurism.
She stated he liked to see me with other people. It wasn't only observing, however, as her voice trembled as she remembered the painful experiences. Everything was determined by him, including what I wore, the lighting in the room, the actions that were done, and even how much baby oil we had to use to make our bodies shine the way he wanted. She clarified that Diddy had her buy clothes from specific shops, and he would personally decide which of the few ensembles she had to wear. I had no say, she replied, her voice becoming sharper as she kept her gaze on the jurors. He would threaten me if I didn't, making me feel helpless and stuck. The direction of the connection will determine this. If anything is your secret and something you didn't want to reveal, then it's yours. If you're harming others, I do think that karma exists.